Hey, it's Doug from the Rise Above Gym channel, and I have some sneaky kettlebell core exercises for you. Let's check it out. The reason why I call these sneaky, one, because I wanted you to click on the video and watch it, but I do think these will help you out, not clickbait. Two, these are indirect exercises in a sense that they work other things. So let's say I'm working my back, but they get the core a lot, or I'm working my shoulder, but they get the core a lot. So I get a lot of people saying, wow, that really worked my core. And yeah, that's the nice thing about kettlebells. They're very good at unilateral or single-sided exercises, which really get the core involved. Also, I wanted to get away from the traditional Turkish getup. Great exercise with the kettlebell. If you want to check out the Turkish getup, I have a full tutorial. I'll put it right up there in the card, but it's a great one. But let's show you something different than the traditional Turkish getup. So I got a bunch of different exercises. Let's show them to you right now. All right, so one of the classic core exercises is the sit-up. You can use a kettlebell with it and add a little bit of a press. Yes, you can use dumbbells with this too. Kettlebells work pretty well. So we're gonna grab a bell. I'm gonna do a sit-up, and then as I'm sitting up, I'm gonna gradually press the bell up over my head and to get a little bit more core than just be on the sit-up. So I'm gonna sit up and press. I'm gonna bring the bell down when it gets close to my body. I'm gonna go back down, press up, down, press up. You can even do this with one. So I'll go down. It's a little hard. Press up, I gotta use a little momentum. And then in, go down, and press up with the bell. So that is a great combo to get your shoulder and your core at the same time. One of the best ways I like to get my core, and I do this type of training pretty much every week, is in the kneeling or half kneeling position. So a kneeling position, obviously, I'm gonna be on my knees. I tend to do it more half kneeling, but I will show the double kneeling position, which will activate the core a little bit more, and you have to go a little lighter. That's why I prefer half kneeling, so I have a little bit more support, and I can go slightly heavier to get kind of the focus of what I want out of the exercise. Now, one you can do really well is a halo. So I'll be in a kneeling position, I want to tighten my core. Also tighten your glutes, because that'll protect the low back, and I'm just gonna roll around, open up my elbows, back to the center, roll around, open up my elbows, and go the other way. So obviously when you take the legs out of the stability equation, you have to rely more on your core to keep you stable, and that's the indirect way you're training your core. Now you can do a press with this as well, but let's go into the half kneeling position. So the half kneeling is one knee is up, one leg is back. I'll go to slight angle here so you can see. So one leg forward, one leg back. So now I have a little bit of stability and go a little heavier. I'll just keep this bell for this sake. And one I do almost every week is a press. I like to press on the side where the leg is up. I'm gonna tighten up my core, press up, and then down, press up, and then down. I can also do a halo in the position that we did earlier, the halo, but I can do this in this position. Now, one that I really like, I'll do a couple presses in my sets, and then I'll add the half kneeling windmill. So I will bring my leg in, so I'm in this triangle, I'll kind of walk this leg out. I do my press, let's say that's my 5th press. I'm gonna touch my thigh, I'm gonna keep my hip up, and I'm gonna rotate a little bit and laterally move towards the floor, and then use my core to come back up. So again, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna keep my hip up, find the floor without sinking my core, drive up from the core and back in. One of my favorites for the core stability, also gets rotational, thoracic rotation, but also core rotation. Great one to do. If you do this, go light. It is even okay to practice with just the arm up, getting long until you get it down. Obviously, everybody knows a row is a great exercise for the back. We can do this a lot with a kettlebell, and we can brace our body in row. Now, one way you can add a little more core is to take the brace away. Now I have to tighten my glutes to protect my low back and engage my core a little bit more and try to be stable. I'm not lifting my body or lifting my chest or even rotating my chest. I want to keep everything still and then down. So I'm really focused and centered on that core a little bit more to get that bell to move in the right direction and to use my back more. So it's a good way if someone's not quite getting the row or using too much weight and too much body English, slow them down, lighten it up a little bit, and then have them take the brace away, especially if they have a good low back. If they don't have a great low back, you want them braced, but see if they can do it that way. The Renegade row is a good kettlebell one. You can do this with dumbbells as well, but the handles on the kettlebell are pretty nice because they're very upright and get you elevated. I'm gonna take a wide stance with my feet. I'm gonna get directly over the bell. So I don't wanna be far back and kind of pushing in at an angle. I wanna be directly over the bells. I like to keep them kind of narrow because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push down on one and row with the other. Then I'm gonna push down with the other one and row. So I'm engaging my core, I'm not turning, and then down, engaging my core and rowing, and that one will blast your core if you do it nice, slow, and controlled like I did just there. Lunges are a great way to build up single leg strength, but also you can use the kettlebell to activate the core even more. So one way I like to do it is a racked lunge. So I'm gonna keep it racked in this position. So now I have uneven weight. I gotta keep the opposite side still. And I can, to me, it doesn't matter what leg you do or what direction you do. Let's just say I'm gonna go forward on the opposite leg. So I'm gonna drop down, stabilize, and then come back up. Whole lot of core going on so I don't dip or drop the hip or the chest. And the lower I go, the more challenging it is. The slower I go, the more challenging it is. Another way you can do it is to press up. And then let's do it like get up style. I'm gonna step back with my left leg, challenge my core as I descend slowly, and then come up one motion. Again, challenge, it's very easy to wobble around, so I'm gonna tighten up, drop down, and then come back up, and then in. So that challenges the core very well. Now, if you want a big challenge, which I enjoy these exercises, but I don't do them as often as probably as I should, is a double kettlebell lunge. So I'm gonna rack 2 bells up, and now I'll just alternate. So I'm gonna lock in here, drop down and up, drop down and up. And let's say I do 8 to 10 reps of that, keeping my chest up and my core tight. I'm gonna be feeling it right in there. Kettlebell swings are a great way to increase your cardiovascular system and also dynamic power. Most kettlebell swings are in this plane right in front here, the sagittal plane. So we're gonna make it rotational. This one you need a very light kettlebell because rotational is a little bit tough, especially if you haven't done it much. You can do it 2 ways. We'll do 2-arm first. So I'm gonna grab the bell, and unlike the traditional going straight through the legs, we're gonna keep it in front, and I'm just gonna pendulum swing, and I'm gonna pivot. Now you can also do this 1 arm, which I like a little bit better. To me, it's a less awkward. When I do those pendulum swings, I tend to use the Bulgarian bag, but if you don't have a Bulgarian bag, you can use a kettlebell. Again, single arm. Now I'm gonna pendulum, pivot, back swing, back swing. So I'm using my hips and my core to transfer, and then float back up. So that is a good one for a rotational core. And you'll feel it if you're crossing through, you'll feel that core activated. If you're a tennis player, golfer, great way to build up core stability and strength for your sports. Now another one, tricky one, is a figure 8 swing. So figure 8 swing is a 1-arm swing where we're coming down through the middle. We're gonna leave a corner of the bell open. We're gonna hinge as much as we can to grab that corner, and I'm gonna rotate through. You're gonna have your hand touch it to stop the momentum because we're always gonna go back down the middle and shift and back up. So I'm gonna leave a corner open, I'm gonna get a swing. So I'm gonna go around, stop, stop, rotate, stop, stop, rotate, 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 rotate. Again, go light because you want to do full hip extension to protect your back and also get the most out of the exercise. Kind of the common mistake I see is a lot of people using too heavy a weight and then they got to lift with their back. Just go light on these things. Get a few more reps, get it down, focus on your core, use your core more mentally, and then you'll get the most out of it. All right, lastly, as you probably know, farmer walks are a great exercise for kettlebell strength. And you can do them a bunch of ways. I have a very old video, I don't even know how many years ago, of all the kettlebell farmer walk variations. I can go try to find it, maybe put it in the notes. But basically, you're just gonna hold old style suitcase, good posture, good grip, and walk. Now, single offset loading, great way, because it's gonna pull you down. You gotta keep your body upright and then walk. You can also rack walk it. So rack, again, as we talked about the lunges, gonna move you around, challenges the breathing a little bit, which engages the core a little bit more to help your breath out. You can go overhead, walking back. You can also do the double, right? So double a little heavier, you'll be a little more stable, but you can do that. You can double rack and walk, and you can even overhead double and walk. And then lastly, you can do offsetting and walk. There is no limit to what you can do with the farmer walk. Farmer walks are great for doing a set of, let's say you're doing a set of chest presses or you're doing a set of squats. Just leave some bells out, go for a little walk and come back, throw in a few sets, and you'll blast your core. So I want to thank you for watching the video. If you like it, please like it down below. Also consider subscribing as I put new videos out like this as much as I can, almost every week. Also give me some comments if you want to see something in the future or if you have any ideas for me, that would go a long way. Thanks again for watching. Train up that core and we'll see you next time.